don't know. I think hi because this says live, that doesn't. Now they both do. Hello, happy Tuesday. Happy fucking Tuesday. Here we are. Let me adjust the camera a little bit. Hey guys. Say hey when you're popping on. Let's go back to where we were last week. Let me actually open my phone. Say hey when you're popping. Take care of that. This way I can watch the comments better. Fucking Facebook on your computer is so weird. Facebook Lives. Anyways. So, hey, how's it going? All right, so last week we talked about polarity and some of the things that polarity impacts, including nutrient absorption, general balance and function, and even some mental clarity in people, okay? Now, when we were talking, we talked a little bit about muscle testing. Now, the polarity testing itself, we were talking about something specific to polarity therapy, and which is kind of new to me, but apparently it's been around for a long freaking time. So, but we were talking about polarity testing in general. Now, there are a couple different reasons that we would be testing for this. So, polarity testing that we were talking about last week is something that we do specifically for people and horses to make sure that all of their electrical systems are working in balance and correctly. And we can do that when we think that there's a problem. For example, with Lightning, it was that he just wasn't assimilating his nutrition. He wasn't gaining weight the way I want him to. And again, there are other things that are going to contribute to that, but I finally decided to test it, and yeah, this was an issue. This was contributing to the problem. But whenever there's like a traumatic incident, this is something that we can test. Now, another time that we're going to come up and test polarity is when we're muscle testing and things just aren't adding up. So again, I'm going to remind you all that there is a guide section in this group, and in that guide section, you can go check it out. There's a whole guide on muscle testing, the ins and outs, the intro, whatever. This is something that we talk about in a little bit more in depth in the certification program. Hey, Leanne, because it is fundamental to what I do, to how I help horses in bodywork. And in the sense of muscle testing, our muscle testing can be reversed just like our polarity can be reversed. So what that means is I can be saying my name is Margaret and my body is going back and being like, bitch, no, it's not. And I'm like, but it is. So my polarity is reversed, okay? Now, there are other ways that we can figure that out. If you are being tested by someone else, they will just ask, is your polarity correct? Is your north and your south? And that's how we're going to know. And so that's kind of what we do here with the polarity in horses. Now, if we rewind, recap, okay, last week we talked about, like I said, polarity therapy. And in polarity therapy, there are 2 points here on a person. These are also mirrored on the back, okay? So there's 2 points in the front, 2 points in the back. Then just under your rib cage, there's 2 points, a little bit closer together, like literally like finger widths apart, and kind of like right on your rib cage there, like because your ribs come together, you know. So there's a point on either side there, and then there's a point just inside each of your hips, okay? And again, these are all mirrored on the back. So now when we transfer that to a horse, we've got 2 points between the ears, 2 points under the jaw, 2 points behind the shoulders, and then kind of under on the rib cage in the armpit. And then we've got 2 points in the back, kind of in front of their hips, okay, in front of their hip bones, or for those of you who are practitioners, in front of their tubercocci. And then 2 more that mirror underneath that are kind of in the back of the barrel, okay? So remember, those are north is on top and south is on the bottom, okay? North is on the front, south is on the back, okay? All right, now we can number those points, but basically we're just gonna muscle test. We're just gonna be like, is your we'll just do Lightning again. Is Lightning's polarity correct today? Yes. Okay. Is Cash's polarity correct today? Yes. Okay. They're not going to be good examples. Is Bruce's polarity correct today? Yes. Okay. If we got to know, I would start by saying, Um, are north points 1 and 2 correct? Yes. No, right? I'm going to work it out because there's 6 points on top and north and 6 points in the bottom. I'm going to figure it out, okay? When I'm correcting polarity from a distance, as in I'm sitting in this office here and I'm going to correct polarity. This is a simple reset. There's a couple ways you can do this. This is very much, you can operate very much like a emotion code practitioner, and you can swipe the governing meridian. Okay, so governing meridian is going to start here in your lips. It's going to go up over the center of your head and all the way down your spine until your tailbone. It's on the horse, it is the same. is basically the same. Okay, now we can visualize that swipe. We can swipe there. We can use something that stands in for that. So a lot of times when I'm working, I'm using this middle finger and all the way down to the wrist. And that is what I'm using as a stand-in for a governing meridian. It makes swiping a lot easier, a lot less invasive, a little bit more timely, okay? And when I'm working, even if I'm working with a horse, yeah, I don't actually swipe over them, okay? I just don't. Like, that's, especially on the horse, like, that's a lot of real estate to be swiping. So a lot of times I will use my own finger acting as proxy, or I will just set an intention, close my eyes, take some breaths, and visualize it happening, and that being enough. Now, when we're talking about doing it in person with these points north, south on the horse, all 6 on top and all 6 on bottom, we're usually going to find one on top that's out and one on the bottom that's out, okay? And if we were doing this in person, we would take this to a whole new level, and we would talk about your north hand and your south hand, and we would talk about north fingers and south fingers and neutral fingers and things like that, because again, we are electric. Our horses are electric. So every finger has a north or south because it has a polarity, because it has power running through it, okay? Or it has a neutral, right? We can have grounding. But anyway, we would coordinate, and we would use the south hand, south finger. Aw, thanks, Mom. That's weird. Anyway, um, compliments from Mom that got a little sentimental. Maybe my polarity's off, for crying out loud. Anyway, moving on. We would use south on the north, right? Because south-north goes together, and north on the south, because north and south go together. We don't want to repel energy. We want to draw energy into that area to get it moving correctly. So we're going to use the opposite. If the point is on the back of the horse and you want to put your hand on it to encourage energy to flow to it, you need to use if we're doing it on the top, right? We're talking about the north of the horse. We're going to use a south finger to do that. And if we're going to talk about the south of the horse, we're going to use a north finger to do that. And because I have a hard enough time with my lefts and my rights, I am going to make sure that I tell you this correctly by reading the book really quick. Because do you know that the most frustrating thing about getting directions from me in the car is that I'll tell you to turn left, but I really meant right? Yeah. So anyways, or Leanne could put me out of my misery if she's still here, because I know that she knows probably better than I do. Okay, here we go. Okay, middle finger of your right hand is a north. Middle finger right. I knew they were my middle fingers, but this is my right. It might be on your left. Hold on, let me look. I don't know. Fucking mirroring is weird. Right hand, middle finger, north. Okay? North. Left hand, middle finger, south. So you might have to contort yourself a little bit to make this happen. For example, if I need to put my right hand on the left, the point on the left side of the horse behind the ear, okay, then I need to put my left hand on a south point somewhere behind me. That means that my back is going to be to the horse, which is fine. It's just, you got to do what you got to do. I personally don't think it needs to be that complicated. I choose to believe, and therefore it is, because we create our own reality, that we can just bypass that bullshit and that complication of what hands left and what hands right and which finger's north and which finger's south. Like, whatever. Yes, thanks, Mom. Right has ours and north has ours. Excellent, excellent point. But if you don't want to think about it, and thank you, Leanne. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, anyways, if you don't want to think about it, like, just set the intention to reset polarity. Like, you can set the intention and swipe if it makes you feel better. And you know, the other thing that a lot of emotion code practitioners use is a magnet, which is interesting because we're talking about polarity in north and south, but that's not why I'm bringing it up. It's because magnets magnify the energy. Think about this, okay? Magnets. Okay, so we talked about last week, we talked about north and south and how they're happiest when they're north to north and south to south, right? Even these wimpy little magnets are going to magnify at least my thought. I don't think they're going to magnify my actual ability, but they're going to magnify my thought that I am able to move energy. Because what do magnets do? They move things. Oh, was my hand even high enough for you guys? Right? Magnets move things. And all things are energy. So when you use a magnet, it magnifies your intention to move the energy because it's literally pulling energy as I move it over my body. Okay? So if you're like, I want to just believe that I can reset polarity, but I'm not sure that I do fully believe that yet, then get a magnet and magnify that shit. Or just trust me that you create your own reality and you have the power to make this decision that you can just fix it. Just think it in your head and fix it because we're talking about energy. I'm not even asking you to pretend or think that you can move a fucking mountain with your brain. I'm just saying, can you move the energy? The invisible energy that is here around you and your horse, can you move that with your brain? Sure, you can believe that because you can't see the energy and you can't see the result, but you can muscle test for it. And muscle testing is based on the energy as well. So there you go. Those are those thoughts. I'm glad you guys are amused. So it doesn't have to be complicated. It gets to be easy. Now, when we are talking about muscle testing, like, let's make sure, especially when you're muscle testing for your horse or for somebody else or for another being, right? Any other being, whatever species, you need to make sure that your muscle testing is on point, okay? So this is where the DIY comes into, like, just make sure you're doing things the right way. This is my right and wrong. The right way is simply just making sure that you are hydrated, okay? If you are not hydrated, your energy is off, meaning your muscle testing. This is just how I do it. Go check the guide. Use the sway test. We've talked about that before in an intuitive healing session as well. So if your energy is off, if you're not hydrated, your electricity can't be flowing, you can't be communicating and picking up on energies correctly. If your polarity is off, you're going to repel. You're going to repel. This magnet was like, that one's out of here. So awesome, Annie. You are okay, Annie says that she's a polarity therapist and she's practiced since 95. See, I'm pretty sure it's older than that, yeah? I'm pretty sure. And then, Annie, my question for you is, have you done this on your horses? Have you done this? Because I know that you rescue and rehab a little bit. Maybe not like rehab the way I rehab, but like nutritionally, you get them back to health. So I just want to know now. I'm watching the comments. I know there's a lag. Anyway, so you need to be hydrated, okay? And you need to make sure that your polarity is right. Have you been through some serious trauma recently? Because if you have, we probably need to address your polarity. How are you going to do that? My deepest hope for all of you in this group is that you can take something and be empowered by it and go apply it to your life. I never want to just share shit with you that you're like, that's nice. Like, I might share stuff with you that you can't fully grasp in 20 minutes, and therefore you got to come join me for a program. We got to talk about this. This is going to take us longer to pull apart. This is going to take us longer to learn. But in this case especially, like, I'm trying to give you something tiny that you can take and benefit from. So I need you to understand that there are some things that we're going to have to check. And so one of these things is, one, you have to learn a muscle test. Go check out the fucking guide. Get in the guide over there in the group somewhere. It's like at the top, it says guides. Click that button. Scroll through until you find the one about muscle testing. Watch the videos. Read the posts. Ask questions if you need help. I would love to help more. I want you to understand this. Muscle testing is a tool that I use every single day, all day long. I want you to understand the scope here. I muscle test what my energy level is today. And sometimes, like, I don't even need to muscle test things, right? Because I just know, like, it just feels like one of the things that muscle testing has allowed me to do is be more in tune with sensations in my body. Being more in tune with sensations in my body means I don't actually have to use my fingers or do a sway test to know a yes or a no answer. So when I muscle test what's my energy level today, why would I do that? Well, it helps me to know, like, what kind of things am I going to be the best at today? And what kind of things should I maybe avoid? If I'm at a 3, probably today is not the day to go out and trim all my horses. It's probably too much energy expended doing that. If I'm at a 3, today is probably not the day that I go out to a party. Gosh, I don't do that anyway. But I'm just saying, like, 3 is low energy, relaxing, reading, writing day. Okay? So I'm muscle testing those things. I'm muscle testing my supplements. I'm muscle testing my horse's supplements. Is this something that I use in my business? Abso-fucking-lutely it is. But it's something that I use all day, every day with my dogs, my cats, myself, all the time, in lots of different ways. So when we learn a muscle test, I often recommend that you guys start with the sway test so that you can ask yourself questions and repeat yes, 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 no, no, no to get your questions set. But also, when you're doing that, like, it's a great place to start is, what's my hydration level? I love to rate things on a scale of 1 to 10. You can convert that to a percentage pretty easily if you want to, but 10 is like 100% all the way, and 1 is not so much. 0 is death, so that is never an answer, and 10 is perfection. So generally speaking, that is never an answer. So how hydrated am I today? How accurate is my muscle testing today? How is my mineral balance today? How is my polarity today? Right? Now, when we know that we're hydrated, that we're mineralized, and that we are polarized, we pretty much have a good indication that our muscle testing is going to be accurate. Okay? Muscle testing is not for telling the future. It is not for winning the lottery. That's not how that works. Sorry. If it was, guys, come on. Oh, this whole situation would be different. But we need to do those things. Establish those things first. This is very much like when you're on the airplane and they're giving you the in-flight, like, panic instructions. Put your seatbelt on, by, because nobody knows how to put on a seatbelt. I don't know. Tighten your seatbelt. I can understand maybe feeling stuck in it. But putting it on is pretty easy. Anyways, and then they tell you, if the pressure in the cabin destabilizes, a bag will fall from the ceiling. Tug on this, put it on your face, and make sure to put your mask on before assisting others. Why? Because, first of all, fun fact, it only takes 20 seconds in a depressurized cabin for someone to lose consciousness. I don't think they want us all to know that, but it only takes 20 seconds. So, like, put that shit on your face. so that you can help someone else. If you come into polarity testing and muscle testing from a place of depletion and unawareness, lack of awareness, if you're not even aware that you're depleted, you're not helping anybody. In fact, you can be giving them the wrong answers. So if you are a healer, if you are someone that uses this in your business, and even if it's not like you make money off of it, you just help people, I know that your heart is that you want to be helpful. So take care of yourself first. Apply your own oxygen mask first. Test yourself first to make sure that you're good to go. Okay? And again, this is something that as a practitioner, it gets faster. It gets easier. Like, if you are a practitioner, this is something quick that you can add to the beginning of your practice. But this is really important. If your polarity is off and you go to test someone else's polarity, there's a good chance you're not going to be getting the right answers, okay? So, there you go, guys. There's your polarity. What are we going to talk about next week? What do you want to know about? What questions do you have? Tell me all the things. Tell me all the things. What experiences have you had? What do you want to know more about? These Tuesday tales are here for you guys. I mean, I enjoy them, so it's not like it's not like I'm fucking miserable here. But these are primarily for you. So tell me what you want. Tell me what questions you have. Obviously, this energy work stuff is interesting to y'all, but give me some direction because it's an infinite topic. So happy Tuesday. Thanks for being here. Continue to tell me all the things you want in the comments here, and go check out the guide section. Go learn about muscle testing. Okay, talk to you guys later. Bye.